Second speaker delivering his icebreaker for common thread, please welcome J Woods.
That was quite intimidating to follow. Good afternoon, Madam Toastmaster, members and guests. Said a little boy, sometimes I drop my spoon. Said a little old man, I do that too. The little boy whispered, I like my pants. I do too, laughed the old man. So the little boy said, I often cry. The man nodded, so do I. But worst of all, said the boy, it seems grown-ups don't pay attention to me at all. And then he felt a warm, wrinkled old hand, and the old man said, I know what you mean. This quip by Shel Silverstein explains how people who seem to be very different have more in common than they realize. My icebreaker speech is entitled The Common Thread, and it encompasses commonalities that I've noticed between you, many of you Toastmasters, and myself. Though several of the Toastmasters that I use in my speech are here today, I'll proceed as planned. Watching Lacey's The Story of Me ×3 on the blog brought back fun memories of my childhood. Growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, there were an abundance of fireflies. My mother, my brother, and I would spend countless hours chasing fireflies. Though we did not smear them on our faces in a risible manner, my mother would take their lighted tails for earrings. She was quite the style icon back then, and she was the true originator of what we call bling. Often imitated, never duplicated. Speaking of duplicating, Nat, Natalie, Natalia, I am Khalid, Khalid, Cleve, Clyde. People often constantly mispronounce my name as well. However, the distance between me and you is, I didn't even know how to pronounce my name. And he passed away when I was young, so unfortunately my mom was too focused on being a style icon that she never figured out how to pronounce it either. But during my freshman year in college, my department head was an Iranian, and he informed me that your name is Khalid. Are you Muslim? I'm like, no. You must be Muslim. I'm like, no. My last name is Woods. How'd you get your name? My father was very well traveled, I guess, and he figured that, you should be named Khalid. But during my third year of college, I joined the Navy. This was, so far since I've been in the Navy, it has been an outstanding experience. I've got to meet so many people, travel so many places that I probably would have never traveled as a civilian. But there's one thing that I do hate, the running. I am a terrible at running. I can do push-ups all day, I can do pull-ups pretty good, but for some reason, I just don't like the running. I was so glad when they implemented the whole thing about the elliptical machine, but we all know that when you're in a battalion, you don't want to be the guy on the elliptical machine. So I decided, in spite of this, I've always wanted to run a marathon with my uncle, Douglas. He's my mentor as well. So I was like, I will try and run a marathon. To my fail, I've always gotten to the half marathon point and have completed a half marathon. But I was ecstatic to hear that some of our fellow Toastmasters were training for marathons as well. If David Perez was here, I would have asked him how the Big Sur Marathon went. He completed it with ease, or he was gone like the wind, or more specifically gone with the wind, which leads me to my next commonality, Fred, who had a hard time deciding which book was his favorite. I have personally never read Gone with the Wind, but was fortunate enough to watch them, surprised at how great the movie was, and opened my mind to explore the Civil War from the white Southerners' perspective, as opposed to the victor's perspective as history is typically recalled in elementary education. I was so pleasantly surprised, I went to Blockbuster and rented the movie and watched it with my family and friends at home. After filling up on pizza and hot wings, in the words of Scarlett O'Hara, as God is my witness, I will never be hungry again. Well, at least not until after this presentation. While some commonalities are major, and others are more subtle and occur when least expected. Though I do not play the violin as Arnie does, yesterday I did watch The Soloist, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx. While I found the plot pretty interesting, I would not recommend this movie to anybody who likes true classical music, and I would definitely not recommend this movie to anybody who likes a good movie, period. As a critic, 2 thumbs down. I'm sure as the meetings progress, I will find something in common with everyone in this room, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you, because the threads of commonality are the ties that bind us. Thank you. Now,